PD on. Hey, mates, who do you have with yours?
Afternoon, Ryan. I've got my whole crew here with me.
Excellent. Good. How about John?
I'm here with Rodney. I got other people at locations that may or may not be connected.
Got it. And I just got Brian Hartman is on, and I have Matt Powell's team. You can all wave to everybody across the Great Plains. This beautiful crew is here with me in Omaha. So we're going to get started. If you recall, last month we did our counselor training for the Great Plains on Beacon and AML product as it relates to using Beacon and then presenting AML product. Well, this month we're going to do one of my favorite trainings that I've done for quite a few years here. When I was sales director in a previous market, the company actually paid to bring in a gentleman. First name was Mike, and I can't remember his last name now. I'm drawing a blank. But his big expertise, he was a consultant on prospecting, whether that was door-to-door prospecting, picking up the phone prospecting, referral networking. He came in and did a training, week-long training with our Dallas team on how to prospect, whether it be the phone, whether it be out in the community, or whether it be door knocking and grabbing referrals. And he put together this PowerPoint, and it's something that we've used because I believe it's a fundamental that is always good to go and brush up on. Give you an example of fundamentals and why it's so important to do so. Everybody knows who Tiger Woods is, right?
Right.
Tiger Woods in his prime, obviously the best golfer in the world. And before he got hurt, before he went through his divorce, all that stuff, he went through a little bit of a slump. And what he did was he changed his entire swing. So you go from being the greatest golfer in the world to breaking down and saying, I'm going to go back to learning how to swing again, and I'm going to change my swing. Then we all know what goes on in his life, but you look at him today, he just won the Masters, last month. Again, some believe starting to come back as one of the best golfers in the world. And the lesson behind it, in my opinion, as it relates to what we do, is we can never lose sight of always brushing up on the fundamentals and the basics. And this isn't a sales position that all of you have. It's a prospecting position. At the end of the day, it don't matter how good you are in a sales presentation. If you don't have a family to talk to, it isn't going to do you a dang bit of good. Would you agree with that? So this training, while some of you may look at it and go, one, I don't even use scripts whenever I call, or two, I know exactly what I say every time. What I would encourage you to think about is go back to the basics. What we're going to look at doing today is how can we get more effective at turning our leads into appointments and securing the appointment by thinking about when we pick up the phone, what comes out of our mouth, does it follow a process, and is it as effective as it possibly can be to get somebody to say yes to an appointment? Because, again, this is a prospecting job. It's not really a sales job. At the end of the day, if you can get somebody to sit down and talk with you, anybody with half a brain agrees that what we have to offer makes pretty good sense, right? Both financially and emotionally. So our goal today is we're going to give you some sample scripts. These are ones that have been used throughout the company and throughout the territory. What we're going to do is walk through this presentation, take it step by step, but it's really going to be user involved and have you kind of rewrite these scripts and then at the end work together to put together a script based off of a lead type that you want to pursue. So maybe it's folks that own cemetery but don't have funerals. What could we do collectively to put together a script that we think would be effective as we pick up the phone and call these families? Then we can share it collectively throughout the territory, everybody's script that they do. And at the end of this, we're going to talk about putting together some list views within Salesforce that each one of you can do when you leave here today from your training. Put together that list view, grab that script, look at it, practice it a couple times, then pick up the phone and try to set some appointments. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's the goal of today. Again, what it's going to take is a lot of participation within your location because this is really user involved. You're going to hear me talk and kind of explain it. I'll ask for answers to questions, but for the most part, it's going to be you being involved with your sales manager and with your peers. So let's get started. We have 2 hours blocked off. We'll see how long it takes. It may not take the entire 2 hours. So again, we're talking about securing the appointment, turning leads into appointments. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to talk about power scripts. That's the whole philosophy behind this. And again, want to reiterate the fact that while I get not everybody uses scripts, I do think it's important that all of us have script examples for different lead types that when we go to prospect, it freshens us. It says, okay, I got to remember I got to hit on these main points, pick up the phone, start having the conversation. It's always good to prepare before we get into dialing. All right, so effective scripts. Effective scripts really have 3 components. Anybody want to guess what the first component of an effective script is?
Introduction or opening?
There you go. Good job, mate. First would be an introduction, right? It introduces who you are and why you're calling. Pretty straightforward. Would you agree with that?
Right.
All right. So I want you to think last time you made a call. Introduction. Did it introduce who you were and why you were calling? The next piece of a script after introduction would be what?
The body of the call.
There you go. Good job, Matt. Body. The body would be next. The body allows you to create interest and build urgency in the customer, which we want, and then allows you to gain insight into the customer and their buying situation. Again, one of the biggest mistakes that we make in sales is when we don't put thought into the body in our conversation. Because remember, if I want to get an appointment, I have to create that urgency. That's what it says, right? Create urgency and create interest. If I don't do that, I got a very short window to do so, and if I don't do it, what do?
Yeah.
Hang up, right? Or they're going to say, I'm just not interested. And then what's the final step? And not a sales manager. Set the appointment, or we can call that confirmation, right? So it sets that the customer is ready to meet with you and listen. So 3 effective parts of a script. 3 components, of an effective script. The intro, the body, and the confirmation. Remember, key parts. Intro introduces who we are and the purpose of our call. The body is the most crucial, in my opinion, and that is you got a short window for you to create urgency and interest and gain insight into the customer and their buying situation, and then confirmation. If you have a tendency to set a lot of appointments, but they don't stick, where do you think we're missing the boat? The urgency, right? So our body of our script doesn't create enough urgency within the consumer. That would be the first one. What could be the second one?
Interest. Yeah.
Interest and urgency, right? Kind of 1A and 1B. The last, or I would say number 2 would be the confirmation. To be able to say, all right, Mrs. Jones, so I have you down for Tuesday at 2 p.m. at your house, right? Sometimes we're so excited to get the appointment, we just say, great, can't wait to see it on Tuesday, right? Or I can't wait to see you then. Boom, we're off the phone. Got to reconfirm that appointment, make sure that everybody understands what's going to take place next. All right? When you see it from a customer perspective, so phone rings, what's going through a customer's mind when that phone rings? Let's go to Denver. Tom, pick on somebody to answer this.
Cody, what's going on when your phone rings? What the hell is this? Yeah, who in the hell is this, Ryan? That was our response.
Who was that?
That's Cody.
Who in the hell is this? Okay, that could be one, right? So maybe in, I guess, cleaner language, I wonder who this is. What else?
What do you want?
What do they want? That could be one, right? What else?
I don't recognize them. I'm not answering the phone. Yeah,
Do I wanna take-
I don't recognize.
I don't recognize the number. That very well could be it, right? Or that may fall under, I wonder who this is. Do I really want to talk to them, right? So remember, the components of the introduction are, we want to identify who we are, where you're calling from, and why you're calling. If you think of that first slide, it said the introduction is introducing ourselves and the purpose of the call, right? So 3 components of an introduction. So, Robert, read this one for us.
Hello, Mrs. Jones. My name is Robert Marshall, and I am calling from Dignity Memorial. I received a card that you and your husband want some information about cemetery property, and I'm here to assist in any way I can. So, how may I help?
Okay, so does it identify who we are, where you're calling from,
Right.
and why you're calling?
Yep.
Okay? Remember, the thoughts going through the customer's head when the phone rings. Who is this? What the heck do they want? Do I want to answer this? We have to be quick and to the point, who we are, where we're calling from, and why we're calling. Everybody tracking? Any questions or comments? Okay, so here we go. Grab one of your scripts. You should have multiple scripts in front of you. We're going to do this individually right now. Tom, you got everybody there with scripts?
Everyone's got scripts here.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, we got scripts for everybody.
Okay, mates, everybody got them?
Yep.
Michelle?
Yep.
Okay. John?
Ryan, everyone's got them and everyone's on the call too, so.
Perfect. Okay, so I want you to pick out one script that you're going to work through this exercise, all right? And I want you to look at the intro of this script. And I want you to rewrite it, if necessary, to contain the three components that we just mentioned that are required for an intro. Everybody got that? So one sheet that you have probably has multiple scripts on it,
Right.
and the other one just has one script.
Right.
All I'm asking you to do is pick one of them, or if you want to rewrite for all three on the one sheet, go for it. Okay? We'll take a couple minutes to do that. Remember, we're rewriting the introduction to include an appropriate connection statement. Think back to the previous example that we looked at. There's that example. I'll leave that up there so folks can see it. And if you
Ryan,
want to
it's-
rewrite the whole thing anyway,
I just wanted to let you
can
know that
see-
we're all on here.
Who's that?
Andrea and Pueblo with my team.
Great. Thank you, Andrea.
Sure.
Also, if you want to rewrite the whole thing, you can see the lead source at the top of the type of prospecting for that script. You're welcome to just take it from scratch and write it as we go through each part of it. Okay, you should have had time to go through, again, an introduction on one of those scripts or multiple scripts, or you can start from scratch with that lead type to start with the introduction, making sure that we have these three components. Give it another 30 seconds and we'll move on. Okay, so we got the introduction down. We don't really need to share necessarily the introduction. What we're going to do is we'll build it up and then we'll share some scripts at the end, okay? So let's now go into, there we go. Let's go into the body. Remember, we talked about what's the purpose of the body of a script. Right, Mike? Create urgency and gain what? There you go. And gain interest, right? So the purpose of the body is to create urgency, gain interest. I shared if you have a tendency to have a lot of appointments, but they don't stick, I don't get a lot of presentations, chances are we haven't created enough urgency or gained enough interest or confirmed that appointment the right way to make sure that it sticks. So there's 3 types of words that we're going to use when we talk about redefining the body of a script or refining the body of a script. The first is power words. Power words create interest. Remember, we talked about urgency and interest. Action words are going to drive action. And if we have weak words, what that's going to do is create doubt. Now, I'm not asking you to tell on yourself to the public, to everybody on this training, but what I'm asking you to do is as we go through these different types of words, I'd like you to think about your own conversations that you're having on the phone. And are they containing power and action words that it should get results? Or do we have some words that we're using that are creating doubt, otherwise known as weak words? So let's take a look at them. All right, so power words. Because it's easier for me here, I'm going to just read these, all right? So you have power words are easy, results, save, discover, reveal, guarantee, safety, free, profit, return, health, love, money, investment, proven, you or yours and yours, gain, benefit, now, new, and opportunity. Let's get an example of this. All right, so Matt Powell, read this one to me.
I'd like to share with you a way to ensure all your final wishes are carried out so that your family doesn't have to make these tough decisions.
All right, so that would be an example of a body where we possibly are using today, a script that we're using today in the body. But let me show you maybe if we took this training and swapped out some of these words with power words. Now, Matt, read this.
I'd like to share with you an opportunity to protect your loved ones that is simple to understand, easy to do, and will ultimately save you money and worry.
Thoughts?
Much better. There's it's more dynamic. There's a lot more volume to it. Yeah, it's home.
Good.
Create some emotion.
Sure. Could it also create some clearer interest and clearer urgency based off those words?
Absolutely.
Right? You look at it and you say, and will ultimately save you money and worry. Well, if I hear save money, first off, my ears perk up, right? And then when we talk about worry, that's the financial and the emotional side of what we do, right? Okay? Let's look at action words. Robert, read the action words for me.
Take, grab a hold of, jump on, get, drive, move on, accelerate, pounce, and grasp.
I love the word pounce.
I wonder.
So, Tom Fogarty, pick somebody out for me.
Neil.
Neil, read this one for us.
This is an opportunity that you will want to carefully consider.
All right. So, not bad. This is an opportunity you will want to carefully consider. Now read this one.
You're going to want to jump on this opportunity and take advantage of all Dignity Memorial can do for you.
So, Neil, do you see a difference in those two?
Absolutely.
You bet. Would you say the second one creates a little more urgency in the customer's mind?
Yes.
Good. So again, clarifying, you're going to want to jump on this opportunity and take advantage of all Dignity Memorial can do for you. As we sit here and just read those phrases, it can sound a little gimmicky, right? A little commercially. Think about it, though, as you're going through your presentation or as you're going through your prospecting script and you're on the phone. These are little bit tidbits that you can add in, right, to what you currently say today to just make it stronger. And remember, at the end of this, if grabbing one of these words gets you one extra appointment a month, it's worth it, right? That one extra appointment can be 10,000 in board volume, let's say. Well, that equates to a pretty good income when you add that to the rest of my sales for the month plus my biweekly commissions. That's the whole goal out of this. So while it may sound a little commercially at first as you're just reading it, when we put it all together, that's where we got to make the difference. So, Mike, since you're laughing at me, you get to read.
I was not. I was just smiling.
You get to read speak words. These are words we want to avoid. So go for it, Mike.
I think, hopefully, perhaps, maybe, possibly, Mike could, by chance, conceivably.
Now, in Texas, they combine might and could. They just say might could. Do they do that here in Omaha? Okay, good.
I'm from Minneapolis.
Well, they probably do in Minneapolis, right? All right, so these are the words that we want to avoid when talking and when we're writing a script and then when we're also talking and prospecting. So I'll give you an example. I think this is something you may want to consider. Do we create urgency here?
No.
Right? This is something you will want to consider. A little bit different. But remember, it's like the close that never has an end, right? In sales, if we do a great presentation and it's time to ask for the check and our closing line is, well, what do you think about it, right? Or what do you think of it? The answer back to them from the family to us 9 out of 10 times is going to be, we need to think about it, right? It's the same thing here. This is something you may want to consider. Yeah, I may. I'll get back to you on it. Or this is something you will want to consider or you need to consider. Create urgency, right? That's the whole goal of this. So, create interest and urgency in the body. All right, mates.
Yes, sir. Perhaps you haven't given thought to your own pre-planning, but it really is one of the most important things you can do for your family.
Okay. And what about this one, mate?
I know you haven't previously considered taking advantage of pre-planning, but protecting your family and your finances is one of the best investments of your time you can make.
What do you think?
I like the investment part of it. That tweaked my ear.
You bet. Remember, at the end of the day, you're really financial planners, right? You're taking somebody and showing them how financially they can secure their funds as well as their future and what's going to be left for their children. Investment's a key word on this part.
Real quick on that, Ryan, I like the word investment, so that way they know they are going to be purchasing something or we're going to be talking about purchasing something.
Good point. Then nothing's a surprise, right? Good. All right, so grab your pen, piece of paper, and you should have another handout next to you that lists the power and action words as well as the weak words. All right? Take that list and let's make these 3 statements better. See them on there? So not your own script that we started with. Now I just want you to focus on these 3 right here. All right, we ready to wrap it up? Everybody got these three? Tom, how we doing in your place?
We're doing good. A lot of nodding heads.
Nate's good?
We're good.
John?
I'm spread out between 3 locations, but me and Rodney are good where we're at.
Okay, good. Andrea, you guys good?
Yep, they're in a different part of the building, but I think so.
Okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's take number 1. It says, I think you'll like what we have to offer. Dave Miller, why don't you read to us what you changed that to? Dave, are you on? Dave's forgetting how to take it off mute so he doesn't have to present in front of everybody. How about Dwight? Dwight, are you on?
Can you hear me?
Which one, Dave or Dwight?
Dwight.
Dwight, go for it. What'd you change that first one to?
The first one instead I'd put, I'm very confident you will like what we have to offer.
I like that. Good stuff. Thank you, Dwight. Did Dave get off mute? Okay, let's go to the second one. Eileen.
Eileen, number 2. Would you like to put on your final rating? What do you think?
Now to the benefits and primary investment.
Nice, I like it, Eileen.
Tom, you'll have to rephrase it for us. We can't hear you.
All right, sorry, let me read it again. She said, all right, she got really good handwriting. You will see the proven benefits of your investment that pre-planning has to offer.
I like that. Good. Good. Judy, what did you put for that one?
You can take the opportunity to reveal to your loved ones the benefits of pre-planning.
Good job. I like it. Judy did not want me to call on her. She's right across from me, so she's shooting darts at me, but that was good. Good job, Judy. Okay. Let's go to the third one, and let's call on, who do I want to call on this time? Let's do Tiffany. Tiffany in Denver, are you there?
Hold on, louder, Tiffany, louder.
Jump on.
Do rock, paper, scissors to see which one.
She said, I'd recommend you jump on this pre-planning guide. I'm going to drive it over to your house.
I like that. I was waiting for somebody to use the word pounce. That would have been perfect to throw pounce in there. Good job, Tiffany. Mate, why don't you, what's that?
You check the chat line. I think Brian Hartman has added pounce to all of his scripts.
Let's see here. Got too many controllers. There's Brian Hartman. We have no auto and present from Denver. Pounce. There we go, Brian. I like it, Brian. Good job. Mates, why don't you pick one of your counselors there to do the second one? Who do you got, Mates?
Oh, I got Sam, and I guarantee you'll benefit from one of our personal planning guides.
Okay, so we did number 3. Good. How about somebody for number 2? Do you have Carrie or Dariano? Sam?
Lisa, come on up for number 2.
Lisa, what do you got for number 2? You there, Lisa?
Yes, she's here. So come on over.
Number 2, I would say take advantage of this opportunity. I'm going to leave in final arrangements.
Can you hear him?
Say it one more time.
Take advantage of this opportunity to pre-plan your final arrangements.
Got it. Good. Matt Powell, you had one.
Yeah, let's take this opportunity to secure your family's future and invest in your final arrangements.
Well, I like that. Good. LaVon, I think you have one you want to share.
Wouldn't you like the opportunity to see your final arrangement?
Say it one more time.
And wouldn't you like the opportunity to guarantee your final arrangement?
Ooh, I like that. Wouldn't you like the opportunity to guarantee your final arrangements? Good stuff. Good exercise, and I appreciate everybody participating in it. I know sometimes holds up a little bit because we want to clarify. But again, think about the words that we say. Remember, the words are what make the difference when we're prospecting. That's why we're going through this exercise. We have to understand what's coming out of our mouth and understand what the consumer hears. We just showed examples of, it's like going to the eye doctor, number 1 or number 2, right? First one, second one. Which one's better? We just looked at them and everybody agreed, the first one wasn't bad, but the second one's just a little bit better. We use that approach when we're prospecting. What I'm saying now is okay, but could I get a little bit better and grab an extra appointment? You never know what shakes out of it. So here's what we want to do. Remember that first script where we rewrote the intro on it? Now let's go and let's look at the body of that script and do the same exercise. You have the power words and the action words. Let's make sure that we substitute any power and or action words in there and remove any weak words. All right, so we're going to take a few minutes, go through the body of the script that you started with when we rewrote the intro.
I'll do that. Just make sure it's blocked out.
Go through that body, and we're going to take and put in power and action words, remove any weak words. So take time and do that.
Your
I like that.
It's your call.
Okay.
Parallel receiving this personal information.
Let's see here. Let's jump over to Denver and let's call on Justin. Justin, give us example of something you changed in the body of a script. First, tell us what script it is, and then give us what you changed.
Sure, it's the delinquent ACV script. What I said is,
Okay.
I want to touch base with you to see and answer any questions you have regarding our next steps. What feedback can you offer me at this time? And then I kind of went into, as you know, you and your family will benefit a great deal from pre-planning as it saves your family both money and worry. And when can I deliver your personal planning guide to you?
Good job. I like it.
Good job, Justin.
Good
Oh,
job,
Denver,
Justin.
celebrate for us. Wow, hey.
Let's stay in Denver. Marie, give us one.
Marie. Out loud, Marie.
Okay. My scribble. As a service to our, well, mine is the calling age or cold leaks. As a service to our community, part of my responsibility is to make sure everyone in our community receives a free copy guide. Can you hang up? Oh. I am personally delivering these on Tuesday and Wednesday. What day and time best fits your schedule?
Good stuff. Good, good, good. Thank you.
Job.
Give her a round of applause. All right, Tom, you got one more there? How about Jennifer?
All right. Jennifer.
All right. The reason for my call is to inform you on our updated personal planning guide. The complimentary personal planning guide answers about 90% of the questions that would need to be answered at a time of my responsibility. All families need a copy of this guide. I have time today at 2:30. Would you be able to meet with me today?
Great. Give her a round of applause.
Yeah, all right.
All right, good stuff. Now let's wrap up the scripting portion of this presentation, and that is the appointment part. Remember, the confirmation is the appointment, and the key is that we have to set a date and a time and use the alternative close, meaning close-ended question with two options, and if neither work, discuss options. So if you look at this example, it says, I'm looking forward to sharing this opportunity with you. I'm open this afternoon after 3 or anytime tomorrow. Which works best for your schedule? Who would point something out on this that you would change? Anybody want to change something on this? Sorry, I should have had it up. This is what I just read. Is there anything on here that jumps out to you that you say, I would change this on the screen here as a confirmation?
Hey, Ryan, it's Michelle, and my entire team is here now.
Okay.
We would not probably give them the option of what works best for them, or say that word. That would just say, set the appointment for 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Good. Good. There's one other thing as well, Michelle. Anything else on there that you would change?
Anytime.
There you go.
I wouldn't say
Good job,
for any
Judy.
time.
Yep.
I would,
Michelle, you were
yeah.
just saying it as well. Sorry to cut you off. What would you say instead of any time?
I'm open this afternoon at 3.
There you go. Right? You could leave it at I'm open this afternoon at 3, or if you follow the process of we want to have 2 times, and instead of tomorrow at any time, what can we say, Judy? 3:30 tomorrow. Can I tell you?
Ryan, I like that with the 2 options. I like to say 3 o'clock today or maybe 9:30 tomorrow morning. That way they might have the same meeting. They're picking their kids up at 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock's never going to work. I give them a morning and afternoon option and then go from there.
Good, mate. Good. Great point. So maybe a morning and an evening or a morning and an afternoon. Another key point that I've seen sales folks, sales counselors make as a mistake, and we just simply don't think about it. We get in such a routine of saying, I can meet you tomorrow at 9 or Thursday at 2, and we're calling at 5. Well, if they picked up the phone at 5 when I called them, chances are
They'll be home at 5.
there you go. So maybe it's, I can meet you at this same time tomorrow, or our morning's better, I have a 9 o'clock open on Friday. Right? So now to Mate's point, I give them an evening or an afternoon and a morning, but also I'm going to try to catch them at the same time that I just caught them on the phone. Because if they're busy running an appointment as far as with their children, with their family, or if they're working, have a prior engagement at a certain time throughout a day, they're not going to answer their phone. So if they answer their phone, there's a chance and a likelihood that that's the time of day that they're available. Again, seems obvious, but we make that mistake. We get in a groove. If they answered at this time, I'd shoot for the appointment at this time. Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, like about how much time you're kind of looking at. Sometimes families find it easy to fit that in their schedule if they know they're looking for about 15, 20 or an hour. Those are going to be different responses for the family.
Good point. Giving them a heads up on the length of time. This is going to get, I'm going to need an hour of your time. Does today at 4 or tomorrow at 9 work better? Good point, Tom. I think that's what you're saying, correct? I believe I caught it all.
Yeah, that was Tiffany. Tiffany from Hampton. Gotcha.
Got it. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah. You're fired up out here, Ryan.
I love it. I love it. So here's what we're going to do. We have one more activity before we go into the Salesforce piece. Somebody say Ryan. Okay. One more activity before we go on the Salesforce piece. Tom in Denver, I'd like you to pair folks up in your 2 script topics that your teams are going to write are going to be a delinquent ACV script. You cannot use the one that was handed out. You need to write another one. Or cemetery owners that do not have funeral. Okay? Tom, those will be the 2 scripts that we're going to have the Denver market write. You can assign them to each group. Again, groups of 2 to 4. And take the time to write that script, a new script based off that lead source, keeping in mind the 3 components that we looked at, our intro, our body, and our confirmation. Omaha and Colorado. So Matt, Michelle, and, Mountain Midwest and Colorado, Andrea as well. You guys are going to write a script for website leads. Website leads. Somebody has gone on the website and requested information. You have to pick up the phone and call them. We want a website lead script. Mates and John, you guys are going to write a script for a cremation customer without cemetery. So they purchased a cremation plan, but they have not purchased cemetery. You have power words in front of you. You have action words in front of you. You have weak words in front of you. You have sample scripts. We just went through sample scripts. Now you're going to write one from scratch that we're going to compose and send out to everybody. So take the next 10 minutes to do that, and then we'll circle back and share them. Before I switch, Andrea or Michelle, any questions for your teams?
I'm good.
Good. Tom in Denver, good? He's probably on mute. I'm going to take that as good. Mate's good?
Good.
Okay. John, good? John's good. And Matt, you're good. All right, here we go. Let's write our scripts.
We got something, chat must be.
audio connection maybe? Yeah, the audio connection bottom, did that help? Yeah, I hear something now. I hear. Oh, I don't know. I think they might have it, they're just not talking. Yeah. That'd be hard to believe he's not talking now. Well, sorry, mute.
Okay, we got the Denver crew back. Mates, you guys good?
We're good.
Hey, John?
Ryan, I'm
John's
back.
good to go? Okay. Michelle and Andrea, are you all good?
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, great. So let's start with Michelle. Michelle, tell us your lead type, and why don't you read us your script for that lead avenue?
Okay, so we had website lead. We've got, good morning, Mr. Smith. My name is Michelle from Dignity Memorial, and I can explain why we say that if you'd like. I received your website inquiry. I'm honored to have the opportunity to help. I want to make this as easy as possible for you. What questions do you have? Their rebuttal we have not filled in. And then we have, in order to give you the time and attention you need, I would have time today at 3 or tomorrow at 9 to meet with you in person.
Great. So give me your power and action words that you used in that script, Michelle.
Okay, so I don't know if this is on the list, but the opportunity and the honored, easy, and hold on. No, we have another one. I can't find another one right now. So I got 3 in there.
And then no problem. Then your confirmation, what did we ask for times, or what did we give for times?
3 p.m. Today or 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Good stuff. Good. Matt, your crew had the other website lead. Who wants to read your website script?
You want to read it?
Go for it, Mike. Loud and clear.
Here we go. Okay, so you want the whole thing?
Yep.
So, good morning, good afternoon, Mrs. Such and Such. This is Mike Burns from West Lawn Hillcrest Memorial Park. How are you today? The reason I called is you requested information regarding funeral prearrangements. The benefits of prearrangement provides proven security for your family and saving your family from the financial burden at the time of your passing. And just listen and talk, whatever. And then I said, I have time tomorrow at 10. I'm going to use one of Robert's favorite setting things. He doesn't use the top of the hour or the bottom of the hour. He says 10:15 or Wednesday around 2:15. Which works best for you?
Good.
That's what he does. Just kind of throw everybody off. So.
I like it. Good stuff. Good. Okay, mates, let's go to your crew.
All right, Lisa's our group. She's not gun shy anymore, Ryan.
All right, go for it.
All right, so we have a cremation, no cemetery. Hi, is this Sarah? This is Lisa at Rest Haven Cemetery. How are you today? I've been reviewing some of our files, and I see that you have a cremation plan. Is that right? I was wondering if you had put any thought into a final resting place. I would love to invite you to come to Rest Haven for our park tour and show you the opportunities we have at Rest Haven. Would you happen to be available at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon or Thursday morning anytime from 8 to noon? Great. We're looking forward to meeting you tomorrow.
Good. Thank you, Lisa. Excellent job. John White.
Brian, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared. I've been running back and forth between two locations, getting the audio going. So sorry. What would you like me to do, Ryan?
No problem. You're okay. Do we have someone on your team that wants to read their script?
Hey, we can do it for John.
All right, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Bill Spain from Davenport Memorial Park in Runge. So my script is I'm calling Dave, and hi Dave, how are you today? Reason for my call is I'm following up on you set up a cremation plan with Runge's just recently, and I don't think we talked about what your plans for the final disposition of your ashes are. Here at Davenport Memorial Park, we have a wide variety of very unique choices that nobody in the area has. People who come after us, especially grandkids, really want a place where they can go and meditate. We would love to show you these options. I have time on Wednesday afternoon or Friday morning. Which one of those would work best for you?
Good job, Bill. Appreciate you jumping in there. Good job with that. John, did you have anything to add to that?
I certainly do. Two things that I do. I like to set a lot of home appointments, and one of the things I use is I'd be more than happy to have you folks come into our office. However, I'm going to be out in your neighborhood on Thursday. I have two openings. I have an opening around 4:15, or would 5:30 work better for you? I like to use 15-minute increments, but look what it sounds like if I say I have an opening at 4 o'clock, or would 7 o'clock work better for you? The second one sounds like I'm going to be there for 3 hours.
Yep.
That's just a couple things I do to make it sound like it's going to be quick, and sometimes it is, hopefully it's not. But I use 15-minute increments, and I always say I'm more than happy for you to come in the office, but I'm going to be out in your neighborhood. Which time would be better? Make them come into the office. So, hope that helps.
Good. Appreciate that, John. The other thing I'll mention, yes.
This is Dwight. I got one when you're ready.
Cool.
Sure, Dwight. 1 second. We're going to go right to you. Bill, just one word of caution, maybe change up a little bit in your wording, is final disposition of ashes, maybe better to say final disposition of your loved one. And again, we're on the spot. So for us, we deal with it every day. For a family, final disposition of your loved one. But great job with that, Bill. Dwight, did you say you had one?
I made one up for an cemetery ACP and adjacent space follow-up call.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Go for it.
Hello, Mrs. Angel. This is your counselor from Davenport Memorial Park, Dwight Swartz, and I'm calling you, as I said I would, when I assisted your family for your husband's committal services. Now, let us set a time to finalize that market design and invite your daughter to benefit by taking the opportunity to secure that adjacent space that I found for her. Also, I'm excited to say that we have a new money savings discount available this month. It not only guarantees the lowest cost, but safely assures her and you that your loved one will always be together. Will both of you join me at the cemetery Friday at 3 p.m.?
Outstanding, Dwight. Good job with that. And let's hear your other one.
Let's put those two together. Jason Space, AC.
You got them together. Got it. Yep, that makes sense now. Good job with that. I love the power words, the action words, as well as I like the money saving piece. Excellent job with that. Thank you for sharing it. And Tom, let's go to Denver. Why don't we get one of the delinquent and the cemetery owners?
All right, here's our delinquent ACV, John Pacheco. Take it away, bud.
Hi, my name is Cody Robertson, calling from Olinger and Dignity Memorial. How are you? Were you able to take advantage of any of our bereavement services like the 24-hour compassion helpline? As you may recall, we committed to being with you before, during, and after. And so with that in mind, I know you'll want to pounce on the opportunity to get your free personal planning guide, which provides a solid strategy to bring you and your family peace of mind. I have tomorrow at 3 p.m. or Friday at 10 a.m. to deliver your free personal planning guide. Which time works best for you, 3 or 10 a.m. on Friday? I look forward to meeting you.
Excellent job. Extra credit for using pounds. Good
right,
stuff.
and now,
Tom, you got the cemetery on it?
Well, I gave you guys cemetery, right? Okay, now, Ryan, I got to tell you that these gentlemen have highlighted the quantity of power words or action words in their script. So, Neil, go ahead and read us this.
Let's
This
hear
is
it.
Neil from Olinger Highlands. This is Neil from Olinger Highlands Cemetery. I see you took the opportunity to invest in cemetery property. I'd like to offer you the benefit of guaranteeing your funeral plans are secured. You obviously grasp the importance of planning for your loved ones. We need to sit down with a free copy of our new personal planning guide. It has proven to be a valuable resource to the families we have served who took the opportunity to pounce on this benefit that we offer. I will bring your personal planning guide either at this time on the 4th of July or New Year's Eve at 11:30. Which would you like to jump on?
I want that script.
That was good. So how many total words?
How many total words? You got... Hold on, they're still counting. They're on their toes now.
You say meow there, Tom, or no? Now. Meow?
Meow, yeah, Mitch, meow. We have 18 total meows in there.
That was good. Minus the New Year's Eve and 4th of July close. I like the script. It actually sounded good, and it's pretty much all power words. Great job with that. So, listen, here's what we need. We need one leader to type up your script out of your group and email it to me. So, just one of the scripts. If you have one that you really like and you want to send it to me, please do so. But the goal is we want to get this out to everybody so that way they can use them. Again, I want to refresh and remind. I get it that we don't want to sound scripted. That's not the intent. The intent is for you to have something in writing to review, but also to think about when you're making calls, what's coming out of your mouth. We have to be fluid. We have to be able to adjust on the fly, but we need to know some of these words so that way when we are adjusting, we're using them to stress the importance, gain interest, create urgency, and secure an appointment. So great job with that. Great participation. I know it's not always the easiest via WebEx and conference call, but the key is continuing to focus on basics, just continuing to get better at the basics. That's what will get us resolved. So after the scripting piece, the next thing is I'm going to hand this over. Tom's going to walk through our list view and some key list views that each one of you can go back to your location, get on Salesforce, and put together and start making calls immediately. Remember, the key to anybody's success is we have to be able to have families to sit across the table with. And what I'd like to challenge everybody on this call is what is your rolling 7? Take a look at your rolling 7 and how many appointments do you have? What's the rolling 7? It's tomorrow and the next 7 days. So if I pull a report today that shows me number of appointments for Thursday through next Wednesday, The question is, do you have 8 appointments over that next rolling 7? And if you manage your business that way, notice I didn't say 10. I know the ideal is 10 appointments a week. I'm asking for 8. And if I manage my business that way, that every day I come in and I look at the week as a rolling week, and I say, do I have 8? I know, am I set up for success or not? So these type of list views can help us to be successful and get our rolling 8 or our rolling 7 days set up with 8 appointments. So Tom, I'm going to turn it to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Can you guys see my screen? I know we can in Denver.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So we're on to the homepage of Salesforce, and we're going to talk about a few list views. The idea with list views is that we want to be as efficient as possible. It's the start that stops people. So if we know who we're calling, we've got a great script that we just made, we can then be as efficient as possible making calls as we go through that. So we have different list views for leads and accounts, and we're going to structure some list views that are based around some of the scripts that you guys just wrote. So I'm going to take the cemetery owners or the funeral owners with open opportunities. So if I go to my accounts and I click on that, you'll notice that it always defaults to recently viewed. So if I were to click that arrow right there next to recently viewed, and I were to type in customer, it's now going to show me the list views that our Salesforce team in Houston has already created for you, and they exist on your Salesforce today. So, for instance, we had pre-need customers that needed funeral here in Denver, so I could go to a pre-need customer with an open funeral opportunity, and if I click that, that's going to sort out all of those opportunities for me. Now you'll notice when I build a list view, the first question is, who do I want to see? And I can gather that by. The next question is, how do I want to see it? So if I were to ask Mace, does this list view tell you much other than the alphabetical list of names in your Salesforce? What would be relevant to see from you?
No, it does not. I would go to like last activity date would be my next click I would do.
So then Mace would sort by last activity, so you can see the stuff that we've been working. Now, I like to see a couple other things, so I'm going to come in here to the gear, and I'm going to clone it. If it's created from the company, I can't make changes. But if I clone it, it's something that I can work on myself. A best practice that I've experienced, if my computer will work, is to change the name, and I'll put my initials in it. So either at the beginning or at the end, I put my initials in it so it's very easy for me to then find. So if I hit save, you'll notice that has my initials in it now. Now, if I wanted to, I could adjust the filters. In this scenario, that's not something that I want to do because it's already showing me pre-need customers who have open funeral opportunities. But I want to change what I see on my screen to help me be more efficient. So I'm going to click the gear. Now I'm going to go down and select fields to display. So if it's on the right-hand side, you'll see visible fields. If it's on the left-hand side, you see available fields. So I can move them back and forth using this. And from top to bottom, it'll read across your screen left to right. So a couple of things that I've learned that have helped me in the past, that last activity date is not necessarily the one that you want to use. If you go down here to last activity, this one gathers all the activities that your teams are logging and that you're logging as a counselor. So all your phone calls, all your emails, things of that nature are now showing up there. I also like to check to see if there's emails. So maybe I'll come over here, I'll add an email to it. And then the other one that I changed was I took out the campaign channel, because the campaign channel is just the very beginning of a campaign. And I like to see the primary campaign, because that's going to give me more detail. So then I can come in there. If I hit save, now my list changes. So I can see name, phone number, email address, and where we came across it. So if I do what Made said, and I sort it again that way, it starts with the most recent or the future task. And if I sort it the other way, these are folks that haven't been touched since we transferred over to Salesforce Connect, which I believe was August of 17. Are there any questions about that?
Will we be able to retrieve this later after this webinar?
If you're building it, it stays with you forever. If you're watching me build it, you'll have to go and build it on your Salesforce. So every individual seat has their own list views. But now, since I built that one, I go back to accounts. It takes me back to recently viewed. If I hit that drop down, and remember I typed in my initials, so if I were to search just by my initials, the list view that I built is now available to me, and I can go right back to where I left off. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, Tom, real quick.
Hey,
so
now,
on this, when you have this list up here, so your counselor, they start calling. They go Shofong Chu. They click on that name. How do they get back to that so they don't have to start over from the beginning and figure out which name they are?
Good question, mate. So another best practice, I'm going to actually right-click on my mouse, and now I have the option to open the link in a new tab. So you'll notice here's my list view, and then right here, I go to a new tab. There's my account. So I can come in here. I can log my activity. Say I left a voicemail. I called, left the voicemail. I'll come in here. I save my activity. I update any notes that I might have, or I set an appointment, whatever the case might be. I can then close that tab, and you'll notice that the name is now underlined. It takes me right back to where I was, and it stays underlined. So now I can logically say I should go to the next one. I right-click, open it in a new tab, and move to my next name. Does that make sense? I know it doesn't ever. Yeah. So the question was, does anybody else use People Finder to add emails into their account? I haven't.
I have not.
Let's say it that way. So does that answer your question, though, mates?
Yep, no, it did, and you had showed me that a long time ago, but I'm sure other people are like, hey, where was I at on there, and you can't remember, and so appreciate showing that.
Forgetting and not taking copious notes when you ask me questions. All right, so now let's build a list view from scratch. So one of the other list views that we talked about was delinquent ACVs. So ACVs come over to us as what? Matt Powell, someone on your team, what do they come over as?
What's the ACV come over as?
Unworked.
Needs
Unworked.
an ACV needs an appointment. Don't it?
Does it come over as a lead or an account?
Oh, lead. Until we say interested.
There you go. As a lead, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And I have a list view that shows me all my ACV leads that are unworked. So I can come here to the gear, and I'm going to start from scratch on this one. I'm going to just click New. So I want to title it ACVs, last 90 days, because we're just want to let's just look at all the ACVs created in the last 90 days. So again, I like to put my initials there. It helps me find it. And I'm going to put last 90 days, and then I'll save it. And so it defaults by giving me all the leads that are under my name. So for this exercise, I'll show all leads. And then now I got to start telling Salesforce what it is that I'm looking for. So what's the first thing that I'm looking for? Someone in Denver. So you want to know leads that I made that were created in the last 90 days, right? So I'll add a filter, and the filter that I'm going to look for is the created date, and it says equals, and I'm going to type in a value. I'm going to use last 90 days. The reason why I want to use that as a general term is that this list view will then continue to update every day. It'll move forward with me. If I use an exact date like January 1 through March 31st, that's all I'll ever get. But if I use last 90 days, I'll get everything. So now I'm going to hit save just to be safe. I don't want to lose anything. And now this is showing all my leads that were created in the last 90 days. What else am I looking for? Hold on. Jumping ahead.
ACV.
I wanted ACV. So I'm going to add another filter, and now I'm going to take the primary campaign, and if that's ever happened to you where it gets a little bit screwy at the bottom, you swipe up here. So I found primary campaign, and now when I'm creating filters, equals is your enemy, contains is your friend. Because if I write equals, I have to write it exactly how Salesforce has it. But if I use the word contains, it'll look in a broader spectrum. Does that make sense?
Tom, I think it's important. We need to reiterate that to everybody. Remember, contains is your safest bet when formulating these lists, right? To make sure that you grab everything with that ACV. It's a key point. I hope you're taking notes as we're going through this, so that way you can start to build these lists. But again, look at what he's got for filters and the wording on them.
So notice with a relative date, like last 90 days, I can use equals. But when I'm typing, words or names or something specific like that, I want to use contains because it's going to do a bigger sweep and give me everything. Another example would be if I typed in a zip code and I just typed in the first 5 digits, but Salesforce has the extra 4 in the postal code. If I use equals, I'm not going to bring back all of those. But if I use contains, I'll bring back everything. Does that make sense? Makes a lot of sense in Denver, I know that. These guys are eating it up. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I've got ACV leads that were created in the last 90 days. And now we're going to ask ourselves, that's what I want to see, or the who I want to see. Now I want to know, how do I want to see it? Which I go back to select fields to display. Again, on the right-hand side, there's visible. On the left-hand side, available. So let's see. Ryan, give me somebody. Have somebody tell me what they think is relevant to put up there.
Let's go to Michelle's team. Michelle Bernhardt.
Okay, I'm going to let one of my counselors answer. How about that?
Perfect.
Either one.
So think about this. You're putting together this list of ACVs in the last 90 days, ACV leads. What do you want to see to know more about these individuals on this list? Right now you got the name, email, state, lead status, unread, created date, and a few more. What else would you need to know?
The last activity, maybe? The last contact date?
Last contact date.
Can you hear them? Yeah.
Yep.
Great. That was So if I go last activity, I'll put that over here. Can I take out company? There's nothing on there, so yeah, I can. Can I take out create date? I already know when it was created, but I like to leave it because you're going to see that. Can I take out owner alias? Yes, they're mine. What else do you need to add?
Sam here, what she does, she's looking at to find email addresses. She just does contains and then the @ sign for email. One tip she's had good luck with.
Well, actually, that one, right after we get done with this, I'll show you guys that one. I think that's a great filter, though. But I know we don't just prospect by email. So we'll go ahead and add the phone number. Yeah. That was the layup. And in Denver, we don't care what state it is. We'll call you. So then we're just going to hit save. So
good point, right?
More coming to me. And then maybe on this list, I would prefer to sort it by create date. So those are my most recent. These are the oldest ACV leads. So you'll notice I said last 90 days. So it takes me back to February 7th of 2019. So 90 days ago. That's how far it pushes back. Helpful, relevant? Good. I think I'm doing so well.
I would hope we would see it as helpful, Tom. I certainly believe it is. And also, when you look at ACVs the last 90 days, if you want to have your eyes open, run this list when you get back to your location. We have a lot of ACVs in the last 90 days that will show up as unworked. Great opportunity to get out in front of families ASAP. And remember, talking to them about the service provided and the importance of getting their own arrangements in place as that progresses. So great activity, Tom.
Thank you. So, okay, now the last one, and Nate's kind of alluded to it, but this is one that I shared with my team in Denver. I was very excited about it because everybody should have received their Memorial Day incentives, the flyers that we can use to prospect and get in front of families. This is probably the opportunity with the deepest savings in the cemetery. We just worked on power words and our scripting around that. So we do have an opportunity, and I hope that your sales manager shared with you, because Ryan showed us a way to pull an HTML report showing emails that we've sent out. So I was thinking with my team, what if we sent emails to all of the accounts that have an email address and just send them the Memorial Day incentives and say, hey, what do you think, right? No, that's not what we would say. But how do I gather that information? So I'm going to go back to accounts, and I'm going to build this one from scratch. I'll click new. Again, my best practice, putting my initials in, and I'm just going to title it accounts with emails. And let's say I want to see stuff that was created in the last 2 years because I want to stay fresh. So it defaults by showing me all my accounts. And for this exercise, I'll change it to all. And now the filter that Mace was talking about is the email. So I'm going to go down to the email field. And what did you say you do, Mace?
Sam does contains and then puts the @ sign because all emails have an @ sign in it.
Awesome. So contains the @ sign. You also have the ability to write not equal to and then leave that field blank. They both accomplish the same thing. But I really like Mace's plan, so we'll do contains the @ sign. So that will give me everything with an email. And then remember, I want accounts that we've created in the last 2 years. So I'll add another filter, and that filter in Denver, what was that filter going to be? Cody. I want all the accounts in the last 2 years. Created date equals what? Right, so remember, we can type in a relative statement, and Salesforce is intelligent enough to pick that up. So I have emails, they were created in the last 2 years. Nope. And now I can go back into my fields to display. Account site is always blank, but we'll add email again. And another one. Anytime I'm doing a broad list like this, I always like to have the primary campaign. Sometimes that gives a little bit of insight into why we came across this family's name. And then I'm going to hit save. So there I have accounts with the phone numbers and emails. I left the type in. You can see no presentation or presentation given. If you wanted to sort one of those out, you could add that filter. And then the same thing with the campaigns. The idea being behind this, if I go in there, I can send out a large quantity of my emails where I attach my Memorial Day flyer. And it's one of those scenarios that I believe can't hurt, might help. If I get this information in front of as many people, it gives us a better chance at telling our story. And the hardest part of our job, in my opinion, is scheduling appointments and getting in front of families. And this is a tremendous hook that we have to share with all of these different families that we've come in contact with. Do you have any questions about that?
Hey, Tom, is there a way, I know there is, and I know Salesforce enough to be dangerous, but if I wanted to do a mass mail merge email with one of those scripts Ryan had, can you show us how you would do that in here? So I don't have to write.
Sure, so you can.
One day I can just send it out and boom, and they're done for me.
I'm not going to do a mass. There's some certain laws around that regarding spam that our company is sensitive to, with good reason.
Okay.
But what you can do, maybe, I can actually go in and create a template. So if I right-click on this name, and I'll just do a test for you. I'm not going to send this email, but I'll show you this. This is a pretty cool tool, in my opinion. I got to list you with all of my templates, right? Or with all of my emails. I'm going to go to the email, and I'll enter the subject, Memorial Day Incentive, and I'm just going to write, actually, sorry. If I go down here to this field where it says Insert Merge Field, and I click on that, and then I go into the account, and I just search the name, so the account name or first name, I hit Insert. It gives me that kind of weird little 3 brackets with account first name, and then I hit a comma, and then I send the intro, body, confirmation, or call to action with my signature block, right? If I click that paperclip, I can attach something. So if I were to upload a file, I'm just going to give you this one for example. I hit add. And now I'm going to come down here, and if you look, it says insert, create, or update template. So if I click that and I go to save as a new template, I'm going to title my template Memorial Day 2019, and I'll just hit save. So I then send this email. I close this. I go to my next account. I open it up. I now come back down here to email, and I'm going to go down to that where it says insert a template, recently used, Memorial Day 2019. It brings up my attachment as well as exactly what I typed. And the reason why I want to do account.firstname is because it's going to pull the first name from the account. So it's going to say Aaron, comma, my email with my attachment, and it'll blind copy me, the counselor who sends it. It sends it right out of your Outlook. All the replies come right back to your Outlook. And if I do that, and I just keep moving through with the template already created, I can generate a lot of activity outbound to families, letting them know events that we have going on in our parks, or incentives. Does that help, mates?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to see around those two list views, those two sections that we worked on? Anybody?
It's going to have those 3 brackets on either side.
So, yeah, Justin sent a good question. It's almost like he doesn't trust me that it'll work. He thinks it's gonna, he says he thinks it's going to send an email with 3 brackets that says account dot first name. And on this one, Justin, I just got to ask you to have faith in me. It's going to pull the name. It'll work. I've sent out a lot of them.
It does not. I've done a lot of mail merges on, sending letters out and things like that. It does not, I promise.
Cool. So, Ryan, do you need me to show anything else?
No, Tom, this was good. Now, listen, what's interesting is, as I sit here with this group, and I'm guessing there's some reactions in the other areas as well, folks having their eyes open saying, I didn't realize it could do this or that it was that easy to do. I'm challenging you. Get with your sales manager. Get these list views created. And I'm going to challenge the sales managers. We posed the question last Friday on our Great Plains sales manager meeting. What is the value of doing an activity session strictly around sending out emails? Because what Tom didn't show you is there's also a report. Your manager will only see what the manager does, but you individually can pull up this HTML report that Tom's typing in right now. It'll show you how many times those folks opened your email. So if you wonder, are they interested? We can take an activity session. This is why I'm going to challenge your sales managers. We're going to set up an activity session to where we take 40 minutes and you pull this list and send out emails, right? Then we come around, let's call it 2 days later or 5 days later, a week later, and we can have you pull this HTML report and look at, of those emails that you sent out on that activity session last week, how many times were they opened? So let's look here. The one down here that shows 4 times. If that was my lead, that's okay. If that's my lead,
click the top of it, because then it'll actually sort it by who opens it the most.
So now he's got it in descending order.
85 open. She's hot.
So if this person opened that email 85 times, do you think it's on their mind?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so would we email them again, or would we pick up the phone then a week later after we've seen they've opened it 85 times? Give them a call. I'll give you the best story about this, and I know some of you will hear this and you'll go, there's no way. But we had an email campaign when we first started doing this HTML report, and Houston, Westheimer location in Houston, sent out emails. They watched this lady opened up the email over 20 times, but she would never answer the phone call. So the counselor and the sales manager get in the car, go over to her house, introduce themselves, say, we've sent you some information via email. Did you get it? Yes, I keep looking at it. I need to do something. They set an appointment. She comes out into the cemetery. She buys an estate. Now, that's why the story got spread so quickly. It's a $175,000 estate. But the fact of the matter is this. For every one of those, there's a dozen of them that come in and end up buying a funeral because we sent them out an email, or they buy a side-by-side space. So you can't discount the effect of this. If I take 30 minutes, Tom just showed you how to do an email template, showed you how to do the list view. It's pretty straightforward to work down your list, and then give it 3 days, go back, pull them, see how many times they opened it, and start calling those folks. Huge opportunity for us.
Do we have a list of campaign prospecting letters in any of our files, company-wide?
Clarify for me, I guess.
Say a missing ACV map that we can send out, or a letter.
I don't think we've loaded the email templates, have we, Tom?
We have not loaded email templates in. They've kind of locked it down under wraps, so you have to create your own on a private level. But, you know, honestly, if you take some of the scripting that you just made with your phone scripts, the email scripting is going to be very similar to that.
And to that point, if there is a lead source that you say, these are the folks I want to email, shoot me an email. We got lists of scripts that we can send to you, so at least you have the majority of it. You can go in and clean it up, copy and paste it in as your template, and there you have it. Right?
That would be nice for us.
So they're not loaded, but are they out there? Yes. You just need to raise your hand and ask for them. Good question. Any other questions or comments as it relates to the list view or email specifically?
I have to challenge the managers to go desk to desk, make sure we have our list views right.
I like that challenge as well. Judy's challenge was the sales managers to go desk to desk and make sure we have the list views right. I agree with that challenge. Yes, Tom?
And so one other thing I wanted to show you on this, because if you start utilizing this, you're going to have, this is showing all the emails that I've sent out all time. So if I want to focus on a time period that I sent it, I could say, what have I sent out this month? And I can click the filter or the funnel at the top, and I change the date sent from all time to last month. And you can see I didn't send any out last month. But you can change that out so you're not sorting through the all time. If you wanted to get very specific, like Ryan's saying, I sent out a bunch, and I want to follow up 3 days later and see who's playing with it, I can sort that so I can get very prescriptive by my email blast. The other thing it allows you to do is figure out which templates are working, which campaigns are working, and if you find one that works, you know, raise your hand and tell everybody, because then the whole territory can double down. If it works for one person, it probably works for more.
Yep.
Well, that's exciting because you don't have to feel like you're constantly feeding us the same lead list. You can personalize it at your own.
A great tool. There's a couple things that you got to remember with Salesforce, and I know we've all heard it. You can't break it, so get in there and play with it. And the other thing is you can't be scared of it. You just got to go do it. That's all I can say to you. I mean, there's no other way to learn it other than to do it. And at first, is again, take you a little extra time, sure. But then you become proficient at it, and you can do what Tom just did in a short amount of time, and now we begin to work smarter and not harder. Tom, thank you for going through that.
Yep.
Okay. So a couple follow-up items, and we'll wrap this up. Make sure that we get your scripts emailed to us. So of your groups, email us your script. Email me your script so we can get it out there, everybody. Let's get our list views in place and take a look at your rolling 7. How many appointments do we have over the next 7 days, right? And what do we need to do to get those appointments to an acceptable level for us to be successful in the month of May? May and June tend to be very strong months for us. And so it's got to happen in the sense that we have to have appointments filled out. We have to make sure that we're ready for the holidays that take place in our locations, and that's going to present us more opportunity to get more leads, to get more appointments, and in turn get more sales. So before we close out, any questions whatsoever, we'll open it up one more time to the floor. Okay, thanks everybody for your time. Have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.